Yu Ilhan looked around, wondering how. He walked onto the campus, noticing that it was completely empty. Is there no one on campus? He checked a classroom, but it was also deserted. Even the cafeteria was empty. Yu Ilhan continued walking down the hallway, thinking, am I the only person in this school? Yu Ilhan waited for the bus, but no matter how long I waited, the bus never came, so I had no choice but to walk home. He walked down the street thinking, the street is so quiet. Yu Ilhan continued walking, deciding, ugh, I should go home and take a nap. If I go to sleep and wake up, this might all just be a dream. He arrived at his apartment building. Yu Ilhan reached his front door and announced, I'm home. Yu Ilhan called out, Mom, but then he realized, Mom's not home either. He glanced at the clock. That's weird. Yu Ilhan frowned. I'm certain it was 2:45 when I left school. Yu Ilhan looked at his phone, a worried expression on his face. He stared at the screen. My phone says it's 2:45 too. Monday, October 6. Yu Ilhan's face grew more concerned. He thought about the situation, observing the outside world. At least 2 hours should have passed since I had to walk home from school, but the sun hasn't moved either. Yu Ilhan's eyes widened as he realized. It's as if all time has stopped. He stood there looking out the window and thought, except for me. A voice affirmed, that's right. The man's brow furrowed slightly. A massive, feathery wing began to manifest. The wing's feathers scattered as it touched the ground. Looking up, the man saw a woman with wings. The woman announced, Earth's time has stopped right now. Except for you. He looked up at her, confused. Who are you? Smiling, she replied, of course, I'm exactly what you see me as. The man stared blankly. The winged woman yelled, a home intruder. What? I'm not. She pointed at herself, shouting, 2 wings. A white dress. Isn't it obvious? The man narrowed his eyes, thinking, He questioned cosplay, then denied it, it's not. The blonde woman cleared her throat. Ahem. The blonde woman with wings declared, I'm God's emissary, an angel. My name is Lita. Lita continued, the reason I came to visit you, she finished, is to tell you that you've been left behind. His eyes widened, left. Behind. She recounted her past experiences with being left behind. It started with my elementary school field trip. I was forgotten and left behind by myself. A training retreat in middle school. I didn't get on. I was also left behind during a math field trip in high school. I was even left behind for the university MT. It was MT break. He fell to his knees, weeping. I was left behind again. The woman smiled. Yes, all humans were sent to another dimension. Except you. He looked up, tears in his eyes. Why? Why just me? She explained, it's because the Earth will be going through a great cataclysm. Before I tell you why, shall I explain what the great cataclysm is first? She continued to explain that the great cataclysm, Ian's Earth, is leveling up to the next stage because IT has reached the maximum number of experience points. What that means for high-ranking individuals is, she declared, mana will be released. She added also, an archaic record will make contact with Earth, and humans can get a sense of that record. She stated, we call this status. Like a game. That's a simple explanation. She giggled, I'm pretty good at explaining. Hugh tilde. The woman in the cosplay outfit pointed to a drawing of a dragon and explained, once mana is released on Earth, monsters will appear. Monsters cannot die to simple guns and swords. He thought she was cosplaying. She continued, if we just leave mankind as they are, they'll be at risk of being annihilated by the monsters. God stopped time on Earth and sent all humans to another world. The woman elaborated, so they could have time to train and adapt to mana. To be precise, their real bodies are kept in a safe place, and by creating avatars, they're sent to another world. That's how mankind is learning to use mana in a different world. She said then, they'll at least have the bare minimum to go against the monsters. He asked, monsters can't be killed with guns and big explosions. She responded, a monster formed by high-ranking energy wouldn't even die to a nuclear missile. The winged woman with blonde hair and glasses says, that's why there's a need to strengthen the humans. That's right. Isn't God really merciful? He's arranged for all of mankind to learn mana. He looks up at her, asking, what about me then? His eyes glow red as he repeats, me. He says, I think there was a mistake. Fix it. The woman smiles, replying, haha. The dimensional portal has already closed, so that'll be difficult. Your stealth skill that even God couldn't recognize is really amazing. He was furious, yelling, how does a god that stupid exist? He continued to rant, demanding, how does a god that stupid exist? Send me to another world. Let me learn mana. The winged woman told him, the merciful God takes pity on you since you were left behind and has decided to give you a bonus. He refused, shouting, I don't need IT. Let me learn mana too. She explained, that'll be difficult until the great cataclysm happens. It'll be 10 years until mankind comes back. I'll take care of your meals, so just wait. He was speechless at the thought of waiting for 10 years. He wondered, what should I do by myself? The winged woman suggested, how about training your body to prepare for the upcoming great cataclysm? But he realized, even if the great cataclysm happens, I can't use mana. She smiled, saying so, you just need to be physically strong. He was frustrated. Ugh. Just send me away too. Send me away. No, impossible. KK. And so, the sky was a brilliant blue, dotted with fluffy white clouds. The camera pans down to show a modern city street, complete with a hospital and streetlights. Next, it's a shot of a traditional Chinese palace under the same bright sky. The Eiffel Tower in Paris stands tall against the blue sky. A high-speed train sits at a station, and a narration box states, 5 years have passed since humans disappeared from the Earth. He was breathing heavily. He worked out on the treadmill. He continued to lift weights. During that time, I worked hard at the gym. Elsewhere, others fought a dragon-like monster, while other people were building up their mana and developing powers to resist the monsters. He worked on his physical strength as he lifted weights, and the blonde woman watched him. He thought, all I could do was work on my physical strength. She asked, are you not bored? She asked, how can you do the exact same thing every day for 5 years? Sweating, he replied, it's not like I have a choice. Yeah, you have to do it. And so I do it. The woman stared blankly. She observed, Yu Ilhan's muscles have developed a lot. His strength also improved. She continued, what amazing patience. Usually, it's not easy for people to focus this hard on just one thing. She exclaimed, Yu Ilhan, you really are no ordinary person. I already knew that since you avoided the eyes of the god with your stealth techniques. But, are you saying that was my fault? She smiled, hee. Lita was the only person on Earth who I could talk to. She added, she came to visit me once a week. The building stood tall in the sky. Lita prepared his meals and he said, my meals were also prepared by Lita. When it was time to eat, his table automatically filled with food. He thought, when IT was time to eat, my table was automatically filled with food. Honestly, IT was even better than Mom's cooking. Sorry. He thought about his mom. He was amazed that even the dishes were done automatically. Furthermore, even the dishes were done automatically. This is convenient, he said. Now that he's built up his basic fitness, he's considering learning martial arts or how to use weapons. The girl asked how he was going to do that when there's nobody to teach him, and he replied that he'll just teach himself through the internet. Electricity and the internet both worked, so he decided to refer to the videos that were uploaded in the past. She wondered how the internet servers hadn't failed and were still working, to which he responded, that's because time has stopped. She asked when he was going to stop answering all her questions with that. The building stood tall under the bright sky. He practiced with his staff in the park as the angel watched. He yelled, Hiya. He continued his practice, shouting, Hyap. He yelled, Kaya, instructing, pay good attention to the basic movements too. You have 5 years left anyways. Hiya. He swung the staff, shouting, Hiya. 4 years of studying martial arts passed. The angel asked Yu Ilhan, would you spar with me? You'll improve faster if you have an opponent. He responded, are you telling me to hit you, Angel Nuna? Yeah. Don't worry about it and come at me. He thought, even if you say that, since you're my Angel Nuna. She yelled, of course I can hit you. Feel the power of 9 years of loneliness and resentment. Blood splattered everywhere. More blood sprayed. Lita, it was said, was a star of potential born for fighting. Lita smiled. Do you get IT now? Don't worry about IT and use me as a sparring partner. Major bleeding comes free. He looked up at her, bruised and battered. I don't wanna. Despite his protests, she was relentless. Give me a chance to refuse. Let's go again. And so, the promised 10 years all went by. The winged woman smiled. With that level of martial arts, you should be able to defeat low-level monsters without a problem. And if you level up, you'll also be able to use mana. Since I taught you myself, it's evidence of your skill. Isn't it more accurate to say that you beat me up yourself? Anyway, you've done a good job in these 10 years. She said. He listened intently as she continued, now when the great cataclysm comes, a lot of things will change. She grasped his hand and asked, Lita, will we be able to meet again? He responded, that depends on you. She continued, it's not long until the great cataclysm begins. And the people come back. He thought, it's been so long since I've seen people. I'm kind of nervous. It's a shame to be saying goodbye to Lita, but... He smiled, thinking, finally. He looked forward. I can go back to my usual life. Suddenly, he noticed something. Doom. Lita looked confused. She looked around thinking, He stood alone on the soccer field. He exclaimed, Looking furious, he demanded, explain this to me. Why isn't anyone appearing? The angel beside him said, It seems like there's been some kind of mistake. He looked up at the sky and shouted, I fucking hate you. He clenched his fist and asked, now that the axis of time has gone off, do I need to wait another 10 or 20 years? He grit his teeth, responding, yeah, if that's all it takes. He declared, I'll wait until the end. A voice echoed, however. Images of multiple hourglasses appeared with the words, 10 years, 20 years, 50 years went by, but the people did not return. The landscape remained peaceful. Suddenly a man shouted, Hiya. He unleashed a powerful blast. The man looked pleased with himself. The winged woman smiled, telling Ilhan, you got a lot stronger. As expected of Ilhan, Ilhan thought, as 50 years passed by, I stopped counting the passing of time. The woman noticed something was off and asked, what's wrong? Ilhan, looking away, confessed, now, I no longer remember my mother's face. The winged woman looked down, replying, I'm sorry. He looked off into the distance, asking, just how far off is the axis of time? He turned to the winged woman and said, I'm bored of martial arts now. She reached out to him, exclaiming, but the great cataclysm could start at any moment. You can't neglect your martial arts. The winged woman looked concerned, asking, Ilhan, it can't be. You haven't fallen into despair, have you? He turned to her, replying, I know. I'll keep training while I read books too. The winged woman stared at him. She exclaimed, you Ilhan, you still haven't fallen into despair. She added, what a good idea. After that, he read books all day long, first modern novels, then business books. He studied general knowledge, history, geography, physics, chemistry, and art. He sat in the library, surrounded by stacks of books, and thought, and so I have read all the books in the library. He closed a book, realizing, I'd better learn other languages. I began to travel the world. He started his journey in China. He traveled onward to Russia and America with the winged woman, followed by Russia, America, and so on. I have learned several countries' languages. He took a photo in front of the Statue of Liberty, thinking, and have read all the books in the world. He thought about his travels, Europe, Middle East, Africa. I have visited all of them. A very long time went by. He placed his hand on a book, thinking, I've read them all. He wondered, this was the last book. What do I do now? The woman looked at him, asking, what do you do? What's with you, don't you get tired? He smiled, replying, I have no time to be tired. There are so many things for me to do before the great cataclysm comes. You, Ilhan, even after spending several hundred years alone, still believed that people would come back. Everything was preparation for the great cataclysm. A prayer was sent, Dear Lord, our Father, the Holy One, please let the humans return before Ilhan reaches his limit. A bright light shone. An angel with long blonde hair and closed eyes clasped her hands together in prayer. She pleaded. Sunlight streamed through the trees in the forest. A wild boar walked through the undergrowth. Suddenly, a blade pierced its neck. Squeak! The boar dropped to the ground. Nice! You, Ilhan, hoisted the boar onto his shoulder, Lita floating nearby. He thought, after reading every book in the world, I started learning butchery and blacksmithing. He set the boar down next to a set of knives. Keep it simple for now, and start with the wild boar. He glanced at Lita. Now that I think about it, if I kill every animal now, won't it prevent the monsters from appearing? Lita replied, just hunt whatever I allow you to. If you kill all the animals, the equilibrium will be destroyed. Moreover, monsters are actually... He noticed Lita stopped talking. Why did you stop talking? You're baiting me right now, aren't you? You should just pretend that you didn't hear that. He grabbed a knife. In any case, I should just become a butcher. The blonde angel thought, he really is an interesting person. How is he able to find new things to do without fail? She continued, it's been 274 years since Ilhan was left behind. That's a long time even to an angel like me. It's shocking that a human who can't even live for a century is able to devote himself to preparing for the future this entire time. Ilhan beamed, nice, all done. Not bad for my first time. I must have a talent for it. You, Ilhan, the angel thought, you really are an incredible person. The waves crashed on the shore. The man stood on the beach, spear in hand. The final goal for butchery is, of course, he began. A massive whale breached the surface. A sperm whale. The angel appeared, waving her arms. Sperm whales are endangered species, and therefore prohibited from hunting. Can't you just let it go this once? He smiled. Hoot! Call me Ishmael. Ishmael reflected, it's been 300 years since I was left behind, and I've completely mastered the skill of butchery. He continued, it took me a really long time to master blacksmithing. Ishmael swung a hammer thinking, if you read in books, things like skills are easily learned. But in reality, it's not that. Suddenly his hand slipped. My hand slipped. Ouch. He stared at the broken blade in dismay. Durability has become 0. My hands are no good. I'm incompetent. He remembered the countless times the swords he made would break. He thought that in the end, it took him 5 years to make a shabby sword, and he wasn't very satisfied with the end result. A hand reached out demanding, give it here. The winged woman examined the blade. Tilda, you can't even slice a radish with this. I won't ask you to slice anything, so give it back. She grinned, declaring, I shall. Take this sword as a commemorative item. He was shocked. She held the sword high, telling him, you didn't disappear even after the world reset, so you should thank the gods for that. Tilda, why are you always trying to annoy me? Her eyes glowed as she stared at the sword in her hands. She smiled softly. She explained that she had made every type of weapon in this world, starting with daggers. She continued that she had made longswords, spears, axes, hammers, and more, and that's how 50 years passed by. She looked at the sword, unimpressed, and just said, HM. She continued hammering away at weapons, thinking, I still have a ways to go. This isn't it. It needs more. She repeated the process until she was satisfied with it, because after all, time was all she had. Then, after striking the hammer for 100 years, she exclaimed, I finally made a perfect spear. She had perfected a masterpiece that took 100 years of effort. The other woman was shocked. Your tenacity really is amazing. This is the best steel weapon I have ever seen. He knew that after the introduction of mana, new materials would be born, materials that are way stronger than steel. He thought, I'll just have to make a new one then. The angel smiled. She said, you really are someone. She continued, who just doesn't give up. Amazing. Suddenly, something exploded. After mastering butchery and blacksmithing, he spent his time grinding through martial arts once more. He hardly counted the years during this time. The winged woman thought, Ilhan is continuing to progress without ever getting tired. He's experiencing several generations' worth of progress in a single body. She paused, but she considered Ilhan's muscular back, thinking, it's already been 1,000 years since he fell behind. As a human, he'll reach his limit sooner or later. And when that happens, what will he do? The angel thought, if he could experience something new, it would be nice. She continued, if it's something that Ilhan hasn't done before then. She imagined something crazy. It would have to be something like opposite-sex relationships. She recoiled at the thought. And no, I've already become an angel. How could I think of such vulgar things? She tried to justify her earlier thought. So this is definitely correct. But my mission is to help Ilhan. This is just following God's orders. It has nothing to do with my own desires. Lita floated in the air, surrounded by a pink aura, thinking, if Ilhan needs to experience it, then I'll do what I can. Ilhan, seeing her, called out, what are you doing by yourself there? Ilhan approached Lita, shouting, hey Lita, what are you doing? Lita turned to Ilhan, asking, what's wrong, Ilhan? How do I bring this topic up? They stared at each other intently. Ilhan started to speak. Lita, you. Ilhan started to speak, but Lita cut him off, flustered. Why yes, and no way. Has he already figured out my feelings? Ilhan looked shocked as he said, your sword has been moving for a while now. Lita's eyes widened and she exclaimed, my sword. Why is it like this? The sword glowed brightly. The sword swung itself and Lita gasped. Lita screamed, no, this sword is. She flew through the air, desperate, yelling, the first sword that Ilhan ever made. I can't lose it. Ilhan shouted, Lita. He stared in shock. He looked down at his clothes, confused. These clothes are the ones I was wearing when Earth stopped. He looked around, a sudden realization hitting him. I see. He understood what was happening. Everything's returning to the day that Earth stopped. A winged woman soared through the sky, clutching a sword. My God, please do not take this sword away from me. The winged woman looked down, her expression filled with shock. She looked over the city below, asking herself, when did the great cataclysm? He suddenly found himself falling, exclaiming, arrive. My body is flying. His eyes widened. He realized, I can fly. The woman with long blonde hair cried out, Ilhan. Wait, this can't be happening. She thought, my God, this is too much. I haven't even had the chance to say goodbye to Ilhan. She held the sword tightly, thinking, but I still have his sword. I'll take back what I said about you being too much. Clutching the sword close to her chest, she whispered, You Ilhan. Her eyes glistened as she thought, I've grown really fond of you in the past 1,000 years. But when I see you again, she yelled out as she flew through the sky, in the end, we didn't even kiss. He watched her fly away, thinking, Lita, is this how we part? He continued to watch her, realizing it was, without even a farewell. And so abruptly too. Lita smiled, thinking, since I am an angel, a high-ranking being. He fell through the sky, wondering, if I also become a high-ranking being, will I be able to meet Lita again? You Hair by Goni Kaf Pascucci. The sun shines on a bus stop. People walk through a doorway. Inside, rows of desks fill a classroom. Students sit at the desks. Suddenly, everyone around them is scanned by a bright light. One of the students looks around, surprised, and says, Ding. The scene shifts to an aerial view of the school, showing many students gathered outside. The brown-haired student stands among the crowd, looking serious. He stares ahead with a determined look. Yu Ilhan's status window appears. Human, jobless, level 1, with the title Panchamistic Loner, Strength 72, Dexterity 81, HP 78, Mana 1, Active Skill Stealth Level Max, and a passive skill that can't be estimated, plus bonuses for having fallen behind. He sees the status window and realizes, this means, the day of the Great Cataclysm is here. Someone nearby exclaims, Wow, we can open status windows here as well. We really came back in just 10 years. He wonders, has it also been 10 years for the rest of humanity? It seems that I'm the only one who has fallen behind for 1,000 years. A man asks, what's this? My stats really have been reverted. Did everyone experience the same thing? Another replies, yes, we're back to the original stats as well. He frowned, saying, what a pity, I worked really hard to get those stats up. Looking around at the crowd, he thought, this is strange. There are so many people around me. He noticed that no one seemed to notice him, but none of them react to me. It's as if they aren't able to see me. He saw a notification. Active skill ~stealth LV. Max can be evolved. Materials are needed for skill evolution. He realized stealth. Could it be? Because of this. He grimaced, seeing another notification. Yu Ilhan Human Jr. First L. Title Passively Living Loner. Live Stealthily. Dexterity 81. Ugh. What's with this passive? Why can't I switch it off? He was surrounded by people but still felt isolated. How do I turn it off? Ugh. He gripped his head, anxiety rising. Am I fated? Alone? He wondered if he was destined to be born separated from me. At the bus stop, he said, I don't care anymore. Let's just go home. He grinned, we're finally back. He smiled, haha. Even so, it's nice to see streets with people in it after such a long while. He arrived at his apartment building as the sun began to set. He reached his front door and yelled, I'm finally home. Ilhan. He heard a voice and thought, this voice. He looked up and gasped, Mom. He hadn't thought about her face for a while. Duh, my mom. He rushed forward, embracing her. Mom, you're back. I missed you so much. As soon as he saw her, all his memories of her came back. This was his mom whom he hadn't met for 1,000 years. He looked at the sunset and thought, the sunset that I'm seeing after 1,000 years. He smelled the dinner being cooked and the sizzling sound coming from the frying pan, thinking, the smell of dinner being cooked, and the sizzling sound that comes from the frying pan. His dad was reading his newspaper at the dining table. He thought, my dad who reads his newspaper on the dining table. Everything is back to how it used to be. He looked at his dad's newspaper and said, geez, there isn't any news on Haija. His mom, holding a bowl of soup, asked, were you at Haija? I was at a place known as Yamen with the other ladies in this neighborhood. He realized, not everything is back to how it used to be. Haija, Yamen. He thought to himself, Haija was perfect apart from the fact that there wasn't any rice. I really couldn't figure out how to control that mana thing. It was so hard. I'm unable to participate in their conversation. A woman asked him, where were you at? He replied, He thought, I should probably hide the fact that I had been left on Earth all alone since they'll probably worry about me. It was a place without any name. He continued thinking, that mana thing. It's really hard to learn. That's right. Does it even make sense for them to bring newborn babies, the elderly and even pregnant women, and put them through hardship for 10 years? They should have just chosen young and strong people for the training. He continued to eat, thinking, they had no choice but to do that despite knowing it was inefficient. It's because the world's balance will be off if they do that. The girl across from him cocked her head. He started to panic. What are you talking about? Efficiency. Balance. I mean, that's what I think. He thought, I need to be careful of what I say from now on if I don't want to raise any suspicion. Then he asked, but how was it for you? The girl smiled. I heard you can earn a lot of money if you're good at using mana. Monster corpses are said to be worth a lot of money. His dad said, since people who can utilize mana well are rare, they'll definitely be able to earn good money. It feels so strange to hear my parents talking as if they're gamers who play fantasy games. He placed his chopsticks on the table. He looked up at his parents and said, Mom, Dad, I have something to tell you. He clenched his fists, announcing, I can't use mana. His parents looked shocked. His dad said, is that so? I see. You should focus on studying then. Darn it, I knew this'd happen. I guess this was already decided by our genes. Since I can't use mana well, you won't be able to do so either. He thought they bought that way too easily. He ate dinner with his parents. Yeah, I guess. It doesn't matter though. For now, he felt happy that peace had returned to his world. He looked out of the window. Yu Ilhan's eyes widened. What? He spotted a spear and wondered, why is this here? I thought it'd disappear when the world was reset though. He grabbed the spear, thinking, Lita did try everything she could to prevent the sword I made from disappearing back then. Is that why? Yu Ilhan swung the spear around. In any case, this works out great. I can just use this to fight monsters instead of looking for new weapons. A blue screen popped up showing the spear's stats. Yu Ilhan's steel spear grade unique. Attack power 800, durability 500/500, a miracle that was made by a human using steel without the help of mana. It's so strong and sturdy that one would easily believe that it's made of the bone of an intermediate monster. Are these its stats? Looking at the spear's stats, Yu Ilhan wondered. Attack power 800. I don't know if this is a lot or too little. He sat down at his computer, thinking, all right then, let's start collecting information. He smiled. Oh, there are so many posts. After having read all the books that exist in the world, it's nice seeing new texts. He started reading. The people who had just returned from other worlds started to upload all the information that they had to the internet. Successful hunting cases. I first looked at information on the process of leveling up to find out how strong. He continued reading about fast leveling. I needed to be in order to fight monsters. He continued reading. It seems that a normal person can fight up to level 5 monsters. The book continued. Just FYI, one generally needs to be around level 7 to be chosen as a lowest-ranked soldier in other worlds. Starting from level 10, one can gain classes like swordsman, archer, etc. It went on, and when they reach level 50, they're considered strong and can proceed with the second-class advancement. The book then stated, third-class advancement is possible at level 100. A red-haired warrior stood ready, her sword gleaming. From that point onwards, one would be considered a precious resource of the country, because the hellish conditions required to level up after the third-class advancement mean there are no reports of anyone seeing another go through the fourth-class advancement. Many conjectures say that a high-ranking monster like a dragon or Bahamut would be at the 4th or 5th class. The man leaned back in his chair. I guess I've gathered all the information I could so far. I'll ask around more when I go to school tomorrow. He stared out the window. School, huh? How long has it been since I went to school? He sat by the window, thinking, somehow it feels like normal life hasn't been affected as much as the world was. He continued to stare out the window. I miss Lita. Suddenly a voice echoed, Lita will be glad to hear what you just said. His eyes widened. He jumped up, startled. Who's that? A voice spoke, I've been dispatched by the heavens to help you get used to mana. He exclaimed, an intruder. He stared, shocked. The figure responded, I'm not an intruder. He looked out the window and saw a winged figure standing outside. The angel introduced herself. My name is Urha. He was shocked. Once again, he thought, an intruder has appeared in my life. I mean, I've encountered. Lita explained, it's very difficult to manage mana. Lita continued, that's why God made me into an avatar, to send me to a different world for 10 years to train in mana. Yu Ilhan responded, I see Tilda didn't do it for me though. Lita replied, that's why I'm here. He was surprised to hear that. There was a human who passionately requested the aid of the failed human, Yu Ilhan. The angel explained, they said that it's not fair to leave you be when all you did was barely train. She continued, they asked for an angel to go help so you could learn mana in a short amount of time. She beamed, did I do good? I tried real hard. Lita. Yu Ilhan asked why Lita didn't come. The angel explained, the higher-ups were worried an angel and human would become too close, so I was chosen. Yu Ilhan replied, I see. Lita, I wanted to see her. He noticed something different than what Lita reported and wondered, what? He thought, with this level of physical capability, the angel realized there was no need for her and that he could defeat a low-rank monster with just his fist. The girl cried, Ilhan needs to be taken care of. He was a loner for 1,000 years, and he's the only one who can use mana. Don't you feel bad for him? The cat's eyes glowed. Lita, with a sly wink, thought, she deceived us when she should be an innocent angel. Fooled. He grimaced. Well, I have no choice. I've already received the mission. A voice echoed, it looks like you've done a lot of physical training. The winged woman declared, I will support you so you can use mana with ease. He looked up, confused. Support? Mana? How? The winged woman sitting on his head declared, simply having me by your side activates the mana within you since I'm a higher being than you. She continued, by just being here, your mana cognition, control, and application speed will be 10 times faster. Back in the days when mana didn't exist, it wasn't possible even if you were with Lita for 1,000 years, but since the Great Cataclysm. She calculated, about a year should be enough according to my calculations. He looked up at her, exhausted, and asked, then, you're just going to stay there all the time? She responded, a spell's been cast to prevent other lower beings from seeing me, so you don't have to mind. No, that's not the problem. He was in disbelief. What about when I shower? Bathroom? My private life? What is there to cover? Are you gonna follow me everywhere? She sat on the toilet paper roll and told him, you were out of toilet paper. Get out. You should at least let me shower alone. He gritted his teeth, realizing that's not the only problem. He was horrified. I won't be able to watch about 7 terabytes of treasure. Her eyes were shadowed as she responded. Ah, she declared, I don't care what you do since you're a lower being, so don't worry. Then she wondered, did she read my mind? She thought I really. She continued, don't care if you breakdance, Zumba, or play DDR. But I care. He asked, wait, what was that last word? You know what all of those are. As a higher being, I don't care what a lower being does for their own amusement. He accused, liar. You're smiling. You're delusional. He cried out, you are Lydia. I miss you. You have to stay with me for a year. Give up. Just like that, living together with a small invader for a year began. He approached a school building. He thought, it's the first time going to school in 1,000 years. He thought his daily life was finally about to begin. He looked up at the tiny Lita perched on his head. Hey, are you going to stay on top of my head like that? Lita responded, other lower beings can't see me. Don't mind me. He shot back, I do mind. Stop swinging your legs back and forth. She scoffed. Did an angel just scoff? You're mistaken. He walked past a group of soldiers. He thought that life has yet to fully return to normal. He guessed it never will, explaining that the government prepared the military for monsters that may appear in the future. Lita thinks, I'm not sure how effective that will be. You can't defeat high-ranking monsters with anything other than mana. Outside, leaves blow across the street. He sits in class, unnoticed by his classmates. I see I'm invisible today as well. A blue screen shows his stats. Pankaw's Mystic Loner, Passive Stealth, Dexterity 81, Strength 72, HP 78. Active Skill Stealth, L-Max can be evolved if he has the materials. He has received allocated bonuses, and it's time to level up. He sighs, this damn stealth skill won't ever turn off no matter what I do. Eartha suddenly says, that's not a bad skill. He looks up, confused. Is stealth a good skill? Isn't it some loser skill? I never said it was good. I just said it wasn't bad. Someone asks, did you make a skill? He responds, I barely just made one. I made 2. Eartha, what are they talking about? Eartha begins to explain. They're combining tiny bits of mana and pathetic battle experience to process something to use against an attack. Tiny bit. Pathetic, he thought, so mean. One of the men said, to me, a higher being, even if I combined all of the skills of these people chatting together, it would be less than your stealth. Another man responded, that's what I meant when I said it wasn't a bad skill. Stealth isn't a skill I wanted. So is it a loser-specific skill? He looked around and thought, anyway. He thought, it's easy to eavesdrop on other conversations because of this skill. No one notices even if I look around the whole time. Although this isn't what I want to use it for. He grinned, thinking, so in the end a chance to gather information. He wondered who was the Empress. He overheard people talking. Apparently the Empress who was famous in Landparth for 10 years was from our university. No one knows. We might find out when a monster appears. Will we? Empress. He listened intently as they continued. I guess there was a student from our university who showed off her talents in the other world. And her nickname is Empress. One of the students wondered aloud, I wonder when a dungeon will appear. Even if it did appear now, we can't go in because of level restrictions. He seemed excited by the idea. Ooh, there must be things called dungeons with level restrictions. Eartha, what's a dungeon? Eartha responded, it's a trap. The girl asked, trap? Eartha confirmed yes. A trap God has created. The panel shows a monstrous assortment of creatures. God lures monsters into the dungeon by setting up food. After a bunch of monsters gather, God blocks the exit so they can't get out. Unlike monsters, humans can freely enter and exit as they wish if they meet the level requirement, and God has made spaces where humans can safely hunt monsters. That's what a dungeon is. He thought about it for a moment, then asked, why don't we just keep them in there forever then? They can't leave anyway. Dungeons cease to exist after a set amount of time, and that's why humans have to get rid of the monsters within dungeons in time. There are monsters too smart to be trapped in dungeons, monsters strong enough to break the traps, and monsters that create dungeons and disguise themselves. It's advised to never let your guard down, but it's not that easy, huh? The professor entered the classroom. He told everyone to sit down. He was about to call attendance. Kang Hyun. Here, Kang Hyun responded. Kwon Yunbai. Here. The professor then gave a long, off-topic lecture about adjusting to the changing society. The professor continued his lecture, explaining, the UN has already brought up banning free use of mana and regulations on leveling up. China and other powerful nations are focused on monsters and environments that will change as a result of mana. Depending on how Korea acts, countless businesses will fail and others will succeed. He thought, this is meaningless talk that anyone could tell us. I came here to learn. He wondered, do I even need to attend university and pay such an expensive tuition? What meaning would a bachelor's degree have in the future world? He continued to think. The ability to use mana will probably have the most meaning, rather than a piece of paper proving I graduated university. Unless university teaches me mana management. He realized the most efficient way to train mana is to hunt monsters, but then he exclaimed, I don't want to do anything dangerous. He's told, we're still in the beginning phase of the great capitalism, so monsters are weak. You need to hunt many weak monsters while they're still weak, so you can boost your experience points and level to train your mana. He replies, yeah, but I'm still level 1. And I can't even use mana like others. She assures him, but you have. She finishes, a very good physique. He's told you'll easily be able to defeat monsters up to level 25. He's shocked and asks, what? She looks up, surprised, and asks, a very good physique. My. Her eyes widen as she thinks, that's great. He stands up, towering over the crowd, and says, we can try IT out right away. She sits on his head, looking down at him with a surprised expression. The crowd watches them through the window. Giant insect monsters with glowing red eyes. Story is crazy, but you know what sucks. Waiting a week for the next chapter. Stop waiting and get the Dungeon Crawler Carl audiobook for completely free on Amazon. It is the highest rated series I have ever seen. With over 180,000 positive reviews, it has everything we love. Dungeons, systems, and a crazy talking cat. And the best part, it usually costs $25, but you get it for free. And it is yours to keep forever. Click the Amazon link in the description to start listening. Yu Ilhan, leader on his head, stared in shock as did the people around him. Yu Ilhan's eyes widened. It was a giant monster. Leader remained perched on Yu Ilhan's head as they faced the new threat. A woman declared, the tutorial has ended. Now mankind will need to survive by themselves. People panicked, wondering, what should we do? Where do we run away to? Just what is the government and military doing? Someone shouted, who wants to be in a party with me and hunt? Look, there's someone willing to. He just died. The crowd screamed, run away. He tilted his head, He thought I'm left alone again. As expected of the only person who gets left behind. He thought, it's not like I like being left behind. Anyways, is there something? She asked, are you planning on fighting IT? Then she added, yeah, IT looks like it's weaker than a sperm whale. Surprised by the creature, she explained, monsters are a little different to animals. Their outer skin is abnormally strong, and their physical ability is different. However, she continued, IT doesn't seem to be over level 20, so IT won't be a difficult opponent. He replied, I see. Swinging his weapon, he said, this is fine because I can swing IT well. She watched him swing the weapon, thinking, he has a strong core and his muscles for balancing are amazing. With that, he'll be able to easily defeat monsters below level 25. He swung the weapon. She watched him. He grinned, saying, oh, nice. Now this is good to use. She told him, you made a decent weapon in such a short time. Your craftsmanship is quite good. He replied, is it? I was bored before, so I learned how to make some things. He thought, This is totally different to what Lita said. Just who is small and pitiful. He eyed his physique. That physique is the peak result of extreme training. It would have been good if I brought the spear that's at home. He looked at his hands, wrapped in bandages. For a low-ranking human to achieve this much. But, he wondered, it doesn't matter if I use a stealth skill. Everyone will notice me if I create a scene in the plaza, right? I want to conceal myself though. He decided, wearing a mask should be enough. The statue crumbled apart. A giant mantis towered over the city. The masked man was sent flying back. He yelled, "Hey!" He landed a kick on the mantis. He gained 800 experience points and reached level 3, increasing his stamina and mana stats by 3, strength and agility stats by 5. His taijutsu reached max level, and he can evolve this skill if he possesses the materials. He also obtained the record of the level 13 big mantis. He grinned. So this is what a level up is. Level. It's a system where the Akashic records and linked organisms from this world will be able to obtain new strength. By claiming your opponent's life, you can take all their records and future potential. He looked at his hand, which was glowing with a blue light. Mana. Even though it's just a bit, it's increased. The masked man sneered. Why are you like this? Did you finally understand the pleasure of violence? That's right. I will hit you one day. He was surrounded by giant insects. He gripped his staff. Now that I think about it, I never learned how to fight against a group. He was sent flying by a massive blast. He gripped his spear, remembering Lita's words. Just use your body. Use my body, huh? He slammed the spear into the giant ball. He was sent flying again. He hit the ground hard, but he was still standing. A blue screen appeared. He gained 700 experience points, and his spearmanship reached max level. He could evolve the skill if he possessed the materials. He obtained the record of a level 11 big fly, gained 850 experience points, and reached level 4. His strength, agility, stamina, and mana increased by 1. He also obtained the record of a level 14 big locust. He grinned, thinking, that's something Lita said a lot. She warned, don't relax. She realized, they're coming from above. He strikes one of the giant mosquitoes. A system window appeared, indicating that he gained experience points and obtained the record of a level 7 big mosquito. He faced another giant mosquito and muttered, "Geez." The giant mosquito lunged at Ilhan, its proboscis aimed directly at him. But the proboscis snapped on impact. A voice narrates, a body that's been trained to the extreme. Ilhan's skin is hard, so the mosquito's proboscis couldn't pierce it. The voice exclaims, that surprised me. Ilhan's body has surpassed the limits of a human. Ilhan jumped up to strike the giant mantis. He slashed at it with his swords, and a blue system window appeared. You have gained 300 experience points. You have gained 350 experience points. The mantis noticed him, eyes widening. It screeched. Ilhan sliced off the mantis's head. Suddenly, a voice warned, the monster reinforcements are coming. Ilhan found himself surrounded by a horde of giant insects. He grimaced. Ugh, that's a disgusting thing to look at. Gripping his spears, Ilhan shouted for bug extermination. You need to call Sesko. With a mighty yell, Ilhan struck. He gained experience points, strength, and reached level 2. His stamina, strength, and mana increased by 1, and agility increased by 2. Ilhan's mask was illuminated by a bright light. The light intensified, becoming a surge of electric energy. He reacted with surprise, exclaiming. Suddenly, chunks of earth were lifted into the air. The girl with long purple hair was the source of this power. The masked man watched the girl with long purple hair unleash her power. Well, is she a mage? Who's that? Don't lose focus and kill the monsters quickly. He charged forward, blade in hand. All right. The purple-haired girl unleashed a massive blast of lightning. He thought, the amount of mana that person has is insane. How can she continuously use lightning attacks? Is she also leveling up like me? Every time I level up, my stamina is restored as well as my mana. He swung his blade, preparing to finish off the monster. Anyways, with this, it's the end. A blue screen popped up. You have reached level 7. Strength has increased by 1, and stamina and mana have increased by 2. The crowd around him was excited. Wow, how incredible. He took a breather. So cool. Phew tilde, I barely managed to finish this. A soldier looked shocked. I'm sorry. The vehicle couldn't get over the hill. He stared at the scene before him. What? I heard that oceans know, hundreds of insect-type monsters were mobbed. He wondered, surrounded by insect corpses, just what on earth happened. Isn't there something like the Jewel of 4 Souls? The fairy said, you learned how to slaughter, right? If you dismember the monster corpses, you can obtain a mana stone. He replied, oh really? Remove the mana stones, which is where the hardest part of the exoskeleton and mana have gathered the most. I'll let you know which part it is. The screen showed that slaughtering had reached max level. Watching him, a soldier wondered, that person. What level is he? Amazing. How is he that strong? The fairy smiled. He held up a shimmering jewel. Is this a mana stone? The fairy answered, that's right. Store it well. It's a core material for all artifacts. He tilted his head. Huh? He gasped, seeing a crowd of people had gathered. When did all these people get here? A voice echoed, your identity won't be revealed, so don't worry. He blushed, thinking, how embarrassing. This is the first time this many people have looked at me. He could only say, He realized this was. Could you help me with slaughtering? Yu Ilhan, wearing his mask, is asked, could you help me with slaughtering? Yu Ilhan is taken aback. Yu Ilhan asks, how much are you going to give me? Leader replies, 30. No, 40%. Deal. Yu Ilhan and Lita face a horde of giant insects. The crowd watched Lita fight. That person is the Empress, right? How amazing. How can she handle mana so easily after a single day? Incredible. One of the onlookers blushed, saying, if you get too close, you'll be hit with lightning. That's what I want. Someone in a mask observed, so that girl is the Empress from the rumors. She really is strong. The crowd wondered. That being said, who's the guy? He was shooting beams from his hands. Another person argued, I didn't. That's right. He killed that monster with a lightsaber. Lightsaber? I wish I had something like that. Didn't he do it with an axe? It was a javelin. I'm holding it as we speak. The masked man stood beside the girl, who remarked, look at that. Isn't your hiding skill great? You could do anything you wanted in that mask, and no one would remember properly. He felt a pang of sadness. I'm suddenly really sad. Do I even have a presence? The masked man swung his pickaxe. The girl held a purple orb in her hand, saying thank you. The masked man turned to leave, stating, since I've done everything I needed to, I'll be off. He was stopped by a voice calling out, excuse me, you there? The soldier said, we have something we want to ask you, so if you could please cooperate. Suddenly, a blast of lightning erupts from behind him. The soldier cries out, Lieutenant. A girl with light blue hair and glowing red eyes stares forward, a faint smile on her face. A bystander wonders, is she saying that she'll kill us all if we get closer? The Empress is so cool. I also want to be hit by the Empress lightning. The masked man thinks, Empress, I'll have to leave before it gets even more chaotic. You have nothing to worry about. Someone noticed that the masked man was gone. Where did that guy in the mask from before go? A girl with brown hair waved. Excuse me, I'm over here. He must have ran away faster than our eyes could see. Whoa, really? We have a lot of talented people in our group. He's like Usain Bolt. The masked man suddenly appeared behind the Empress, kneeling. I said I'm right here. Didn't I tell you? You have nothing to worry about. The masked man thought, strange. This is what I wanted, so why am I sad? The Empress responded, well, don't worry about it. The masked man thought, I am worried about it. The scene is set at night, with a playground visible in front of a tall apartment building. Yu Ilhan sits with monster parts laid out before him. He declares, what are you trying to do? I'm going to try and make a defense armor with just my intuition, since it's a little tricky to make a suit of armor, but I think I'll at least be able to make some wrist and knee guards. Eartha tells him, Yu Ilhan, it's incredibly difficult to handle the byproducts of monsters. It would be better for you to find a true master later and ask them to make it. Yu Ilhan retorts, Eartha, what are you talking about? The truest master on earth is right here. Another woman holding a stuffed animal begs, please have some mercy. Yu Ilhan doesn't know how to do anything. He smiled, thinking of Lita. Lita, do you also miss Lita? The woman yelled, yes, I really miss Lita right now. You dirty scammer, What do you mean he doesn't know how to do anything, He thought, in some ways, it feels like he's cheating. Someone cleared their throat, then asked Yu Ilhan if he happened to know anything about Monocraft. Yu Ilhan grinned, replying, nope. No idea. I don't know what that is, but it sounds cool. Liera smiled, remarking, I see. Since you couldn't learn mana, of course you wouldn't know. She then noticed something new. What is that? Is IT a new skill? Me too. Teach me too. I like learning new skills. She got uncomfortably close to Yu Ilhan, exclaiming, wait. You're too close. I'll teach you, so just let me go. Yu Ilhan backed off, apologizing, sorry. I unknowingly. Liera thought I really can't get a read on him. She composed herself and explained, in any case, Monocraft utilizes mana crystals, which are similar to magic stones. She continued, explaining that it allows you to create artifacts that can grant special powers to things like armor and weapons. She said it's a concept developed from blacksmithing, and then he yelled, Eartha, teach me. Eartha responded, I said I'd teach you already. Eartha sighed, thinking that she'll need to have a word with Lita when she returns to heaven. He asked her what she was going to say to Lita. Eartha, with glowing red eyes, told Lita to look after her man properly. To start mana craft, you first need to prepare materials and magic stones to create the armor, or mana crystals with similar properties to the stones. Lita considers this. Mana crystals with similar properties to magic stones. For example, something like a dragon heart. He grins, picturing it. Dragon heart. She explains that you place the magic stone next to you and synchronize as you create the gear. After finishing the product, grind the magic stone finely and rub it over the surface of the gear. Lita concludes that is the basic form. Lita says, let's call this the close. Attack power plus 30, defense plus 50. The man is shocked, saying, you don't even have to do that much work and it's already close. She explains that the basic form will simply elevate the gear's performance. She continues, saying that above the basics, there is mana crafting that can grant additional special abilities as well, adding, that is the applied form. Lita pauses, saying, however, Lita explains that the applied form is a bit difficult, and the man won't be able to do it with the mana he currently has. He paused. The man grinned. Even so, tell me about it, Eartha. I won't know until I try, right? Eartha thought, this man. She explained that to grant gear special abilities, a master must handle the mana. She continued, it wouldn't be impossible if he were to consume magic stones quickly. If he consumed mana or magic stones like that, he could create the gear that he dreamed of, gear that could spout fire or ice. He knew that if he consumed mana or magic stones like that, he could create gear that could recover stamina or block an attack, noting that the will of the master is important when it comes to determining what ability will be granted, since the quality of the magic stones and the master's mana will be very helpful. He thought, it is important that you strongly wish for the ability that you want to be granted. I'm not sure since I haven't tried it. The fairy on his head observed, he has very nimble fingers. He exclaimed, nice. I've made it. The fairy said, you've managed to do it successfully even in a situation without any skills. A blue screen popped up, indicating that he had learned mana craft. The fairy sits on Yu Ilhan's shoulder, declaring, now that I've done it, it's all in the know-how. She thinks to herself, if you hadn't just said that, you would have looked cool, but he's not wrong. Yu Ilhan understood the concept immediately, and he has a talent for adapting. She continues, thinking that if he's able to adapt to everything like this, then Yu Ilhan could very well have a truly incredible power. The fairy asks, you've made the defensive armor. What are you going to do with it? Yu Ilhan replies, just watch. He holds up a magic stone, saying, I'm not finished yet. I still have a magic stone left. He focused, thinking, use the mana in the magic stone. He held his hand out, mana flowing from the stone. The girl with blue hair looked shocked. Yu Ilhan, no way. Are you going to attempt a granting immediately? She continued, you can't even use mana. This is reckless. The image of a scythe mantis appeared. A small red crystal floated in his open palm, glowing with energy. He thought, it would be a waste for him to fail here. He's already come this far. The crystal pulsed with light. He grumbled, ugh, whatever. I'll just give it the tiniest bit of my mana. The crystal glowed intensely. Bright blue energy surged from the crystal. The energy enveloped a young man with a surge of blue energy erupted. Yu Ilhan stood amidst the swirling power. The energy focused on Yu Ilhan's face. The energy formed into a gauntlet. Lita looked on with worry. Did IT fail? He smirked, no. A blue screen appeared showing Monocraft had reached level 21. He was surrounded by chains. The chains clattered to the ground. He looked down at his gauntlet. It went just as I planned. She realized he applied the Mantis knife's ability to his wrist protector. He smirked, saying, things will be getting busy now. She admitted, that's true, I may have helped with the mana a bit, but it's impressive that you succeeded in creating an artifact on your first try. You'll be busy for the time being while crafting this and that. He interrupted, no, not that. She yelled, I'd need to run away since I broke the swing, as he ran off. She shouted after him, I'll apply recovery recovery magic, so you can't come back immediately. The news continued. The news anchor announced, the government is in the process of searching for the citizens who defeated the monster. He was getting ready for school when the news continued. The two individuals, who are thought to be related to Seong University, quickly killed the monster and disappeared without a trace. He thought, I'm off to school. She told him, you're going. Just stay at home. The government has started calling people with extraordinary ability overpowered ability users, and their mana usage ability is expected to be high. Apparently, Mother's skill is the ability to worry about her children, which gets a 10-year bonus, and she needs to keep a close watch on all of her son's movements around the house because there are lots of monsters outside, so it's dangerous. He thought that Mom's surveillance is so extreme that he can't do anything in his room, but tells her not to worry and that if he sees a monster, he'll run away. The government plans to create a unit of advanced ability users, with these overpowered users at the head of the unit. She tells him to be careful and that she's worried about him. He tells her that he already said he would, and for her not to go anywhere and stay at home. He smiled, ready to head out. I'm off to school now. He walked through the city. He breathed a sigh of relief. I just barely got out, phew. He frowned, thinking, I can't believe Mom's ability is worrying about her son. Where do you even use such a skill? Ugh. She must use it to spy on her son, right? Is that kind of skill even helpful? The winged woman responded. They say that among a group of many penguins, the mother penguin can detect its baby's crying sound exactly. It's similar to that. It's a useful skill for survival. Ilhan heard his mom call out his name. Surprised, he asked, Mom. She wondered, why are you making that face? It's just, it'd be a shock if even Mom couldn't find me. She continued, a straggler like me who even God couldn't find. Ilhan cut her off. Stop saying that, Tilda. And come to think of it, the government is trying to create a unit of ability users. Ilhan responded, I'm not interested. I don't have the loyalty to work with the government. Me and my family come first. She thought, well, it's more comfortable to move around when you're less tied down. That's right, that's right. However, he admitted that, I want to meet that empress again. She looked at him suspiciously, asking, are you into her? Men really are. He immediately denied it. It's not like that. He continued, it's not that from the start. These days, I'm not at all interested in things like that. I quit watching adult entertainment too. He panicked. It couldn't be. I'm a sterile man. No, it's not what you're thinking right now. He trembled as Erda explained, it's possible for sexual ability to decline when doing physical training too hard. He screamed, I'm not sterile. He stood in the middle of the street, looking around in disbelief. People walked past him, seemingly oblivious to his distress. Erda said, you Ilhan, even if you scream sterile man in the middle of the street, nobody even blinks an eye. Is it a blessing or a curse? He thought, I thought about it. The reason must be. What is it? Rita is the reason. Rita responded, aha, for 1,000 years you always had a superior angel's beauty next to you. So when it comes to human women, it is true that you have basically become a sterile man. He shouted back, quit saying that. He thought, anyway, the ability of that empress to use her mana was intriguing. He continued thinking, even as my level goes up, I can't use my mana at all. But the empress ability was incredible. A woman's voice echoed, it's not something unusual. She continued, that's why God sent humans to another world to train. The woman added, everyone except me, that is. You who hid your existence from the whole universe, that is. And in terms of being special, she declared, you Ilhan who was able to process a monster's carapace without mana is way more. The woman looked surprised. She asks, what's wrong? Earther responds that she feels the presence of a pack of monsters nearby. About 70 wolves and wild dogs being led by a level 35 diamond wolf. He's shocked. What? Level 35. And 70 monsters at that. He shouts, Eartha, you said that since it's the beginning of the Great Cataclysm, high-level monsters don't appear. Eartha sighs, saying she thought it was strange since yesterday, because on the second day of the Great Cataclysm, level 10 monsters appearing in hordes was already a problem. He stares wide-eyed and shouts, what? You were calm yesterday. Eartha looms over him, retorting, that's because I didn't want to reveal my worries to a lower being. Are you displeased? No way. He thinks to himself, Eartha really is very different from Lita. He continues to think that Eartha seems a bit like a stuck-up rich girl, and that it feels like she's implicitly drawing the line between upper and lower beings. He concludes that compared to her, Lita seemed a bit like a fool at times, but was kind like an older sister. He thinks, Lita, I miss you. He's getting serious. Lita appears looking concerned. The Earth is not normal at the moment. Lita appeared and announced, I'll be honest, the Earth is not normal at the moment. Yu Ilhan looked up, surprised. What? Lita landed on his head. I'll explain on the way since we're in a rush. Alright, go quickly. She continued, I'll tell you where the group of monsters are. Go forth, number 1. Yu Ilhan, he questioned, do you think I'm some kind of a giant robot? It turned out, God teleported all of humanity because of the impending great cataclysm and trained everyone to use mana. But God left the animals on Earth as they were. It was because God thought they'd be fine even if no one looked after them for just 10 years. However, due to an unknown error, the flow of time on Earth was greatly distorted. In the end, 10 years in other worlds became 1,000 years on Earth. 1,000 years. He was with Leela, and he didn't even realize that 1,000 years had passed. Suddenly, the little winged girl shouted, over here. Right. He ran down the street, carrying a striped staff. My hair is about to fall out. Just use words, he yelled. Even though time was reset, animals who were supposed to only live for 10 years survived for 1,000 years and inevitably underwent a dramatic change. The little winged girl wanted to sum it all up. He ran through the streets, looking shocked. The little winged girl explained, the monsters on Earth right now. She continued, are way stronger than the ones in the other worlds. She smiled grimly. Earth is doomed. That's why we need your help, she finished. The woman continued, the heavens are making their move to restore balance. Until the restoration is done, we want you to be in charge of exterminating the monsters. Of course, we'll be rewarding you accordingly. Suddenly, 2 massive wolves slammed into the ground. He looked down at his feet, thinking that, he thought, seems like a very tough and troublesome task to take up. A man with a white mask held a long spear. The winged woman stared forward, speechless. Nearby, a pair of wolves looked menacing. One of them said, I won't deny it. The masked man jumped off a building, spear in hand. He dove down towards the pack of wolves, spear aimed to strike. That's why I like it. The spear pierced through the wolves, bodies flying in every direction. One of the wolves snarled, teeth bared. Rough. A system notification appeared. He obtained 12,904 experience, the records of a level 35 brown diamond wolf, and became level 9. His stats increased by 4 strength, 2 dexterity, 2 HP, and 2 mana. The winged woman exclaimed, You Ilhan, you. She continued, Are you a pervert? Why would you like tough and troublesome tasks? She flustered, That's not it. I almost complimented you. The wolves towered over the masked man. He eliminated the wolves with a single blow. Buff. He got a record. You've obtained the record of LV-18 Wandering Dog. The name sounds so cool even though it's just a stray dog. Suddenly, a woman screamed, Kaya. People panicked. Monsters have paired. Report this right away. One man tried to fight back, fireball. Why isn't there anything coming out? He realized he was out of mana. Shit, I don't have any mana. Help me. The masked man's face is obscured. 2 large wolves tower over him. Grrr. Rough. One of the wolves lunges, blood dripping from its mouth. Go away. The wolf bites down on a man. Gah. The man's face is contorted in pain. He wondered what was going on. He stood on the wolf's corpse, holding a long staff. A blue screen appeared in front of him saying, If you don't choose a class, you can't become level 10. All the records that you've obtained will be calculated after you choose a class. You're not hurt, are you? The screen continued, All the records you've obtained will be manifested as possibilities. You'll be able to select from these classes. Someone noticed his mask. That mask. Whoa. Oh, could he be from the recent university incident? Someone recognized the mask he's wearing. The Sungane Bolt that disappeared in an instant. What? You're right. That must be Sungane Bolt. He uses that mask. He's shocked that they recognize him. They recognize me. Sungane Bolt. What kind of lousy nickname is that? The winged girl teases him. You've got some fans now. Congratulations. The wolf roars, Shut up. The wolf continues, Fans. What the hell are you going on about? The winged girl notices the masked man is getting shy. He's being all shy about it. I don't care about stuff like that. He noticed a system message. You've obtained records of a level 26 gray wolf. You've obtained 1950 EXP. But why aren't I leveling up? He wondered, could it be? If you don't choose a class, you can't become level 10 because of that message I saw just now. Suddenly, a huge wolf howled nearby. He turned, surprised. What's it doing now? He was surrounded by wolves. their eyes glowing red. Since when did they get here? The fairy warned. It seems that Wolf gave some kind of command, please be careful. They're pretty smart, huh? He realized, if I step backwards I'll lose my balance. But if I defend, they'll definitely bite me. He decided, in that case, I can only attack. System windows appeared as he struck the wolves. You've obtained 1,300 EXP. You've obtained 1,250 EXP. He faced down another wolf, its jaws wide open. A white wolf with red eyes lunged forward. The masked man swung his spear, blood splattering as he yelled, Kaya. He stood with his mask and spear. The wolf snarled, its red eyes glowing. The masked man prepared to strike again, gritting his teeth and yelling, Ha! The hero's attacks landed. He took down 5 wolves in an instant, but then something went wrong. One of the onlookers exclaimed, Incredible. He took down 5 wolves in an instant. Well, gah. The wolf had someone pinned to the ground, snarling, GRR. Ugh. Someone wondered, is that wolf just holding someone hostage? It looks used to doing it. It seems it has done this before already. The man smirked, saying, well. He held his staff, a confident look on it. Yu Ilhan, wearing a mask and holding a spear, faces off against a giant wolf monster that has its paw on a man. The man under the wolf's paw struggles, shouting, Kyuk. Yuwa, what do we do? We have to save him. The crowd watches as Yu Ilhan stands before the monster. One of them wonders, what if we get hurt? Everyone, can you see? A monster has taken a hostage. What will Sungane Bolt do? Lita looks on, thinking, according to the decision he makes here, he could become either a hero or a villain. Lita considers the possibilities. A hero. Villain. The wolf lunges at the man, who shouts, I don't give a single shit about that stuff. The wolf is defeated and lies in a pool of blood. A blue system window appears. You've obtained 6,700 exp. You've obtained the records of a LV-32 cunning big wolf. 2 wolves appear and he declares, if there's a person in danger and I can save them, then I want to save them. He continues, but I only do what I can. He shouts, I'm no hero. I'm just a normal person. The wolves growl, what are you talking about? Have you lost your mind? GRRRRR. He pleads, I said something cool for once. Just let IT go, please. The masked man stands tall as the giant wolves tower over him. He crosses his arms, smirking behind the mask. IT looks like they're gonna attack all at once, thinking you've lost your weapon. Arrogant little dogs. One of the wolves lunges forward, its jaws wide open as the masked man warns, don't think. The masked man punches the wolf in the face, blood spraying everywhere as he declares that a spear is my only weapon. He remembers the Queen of Combat saying, I'll show you the results of 1,000 years of training under the Queen of Combat. He shouts, come at me. Someone thinks, Yu Ilhan. He doesn't do something as rash as sacrificing his life in order to save others. She continues, but he makes judgments faster and calmer than others to take the most efficient action possible in the moment. Lita smiles. For 1,000 years, you've raised an amazing monster. A figure watches the fight intently. The masked fighter continues his relentless assault. No, this isn't something Lita taught, but something he himself trained toward. A crowd watches in awe, one of them exclaiming, he's super strong. Amazing, Sungane Bolt. Your entire body is a weapon. Impressive. The fighter lands a crushing blow. Standing among the corpses of the wolves, he wonders, phew, is that it? Suddenly, a gun is pointed at his head. A soldier in camouflage orders, stay still, Sungane Bolt. Don't move. Sungane is caught completely off guard. He finds himself surrounded by armed soldiers. The crowd protested, what are you all doing to Sungane Bolt? Sungane Bolt defeated all the monsters and even saved the hostage. They continued, why are you aiming your guns at Sungane Bolt? The soldier looked surprised. He defeated them all. When? Behind the police line, the crowd murmured. The soldier faced Sungane Bolt. Sungane Bolt. Sorry for earlier, don't take IT the wrong way. The soldier smiled, relieved. We weren't gonna shoot. We just thought there were monsters still left. Anyway, it's great. Another soldier chimed in. The entire army unit was looking for you. We were gonna ask for your, lieutenant. One of them noticed Sungane had vanished. He's not listening to you right now. What? He disappeared again. Someone commented, as expected, he's insanely fast. Sungane was standing right behind them. I'm still here. He plunged his weapon into the monster. He thought, I'll have to make a butcher knife. I need a place to work for that though. Suddenly, someone shouted, ah, Sungane Bolt. You are still here. The soldier pleaded, please listen to me till I'm done. But he refused, no, no, and no. She asked, Do you perhaps have some sort of resentment towards the army or the nation? He replied, no. I cheer for Korea in Olympics and World Cups. The soldier asked, then please work with us. He sighed, phew. No. The soldier asks, why not? He touches the body and says, that's. Eartha appears, responding, because I feel like things will get too annoying if I do. She adds, correct. He asks Eartha, did you read my mind again? She responds, there's no need to read your mind when your thoughts are written all across your face. He retorts, I'm wearing a mask though. Eartha says, figuring out what a lower being is thinking is nothing. The hero stood amidst the carnage. As Eartha said, it's better to not get affiliated with the army or the government. Even with the entire military, they won't be as good as you. He landed a punch on the beast, and Eartha continued, it's much more efficient to be on your own. He thought, surveying the scene of fallen beasts, he thought, but this is a bit too much to take back all alone. Right, and the camera panned up to show the building where the battle took place. The soldier sighed, I wouldn't have received that kind of treatment if it weren't for this uniform. She continued, sigh, I gotta quit or something. Then she noticed someone approaching. It was the man with the white mask. Hey, yes, did you decide you will work with? He interrupted, do you want to buy those wild dog carcasses from me? I'll do the butcher work. It'll probably get me more money to sell it instead of taking all that home. The soldier was confused. Butcher work. Lieutenant, monster corpses are very useful. The soldier's eyes widened as she exclaimed, why yes, we'll buy them. Nice. She then asked about the mana stones, but the masked man simply replied, no. The dead wolves lay still. Looking at the corpses, the soldier observed, there's very little damage to the bones and leather. I guess that's because he wiped them out in one hit. She continued, the leathers and bones of monsters killed with firearms always had very little useful parts left because of the damages done. The man continued to butcher the monster with incredible speed and precision, dividing the leather, bone, and flesh. A soldier watched a video on her phone. She exclaimed, did you just see the video I sent? Sunggain Bolt's skills are very impressive. She yelled into the phone, Lieutenant Han Yorang, bring him here right now. The soldier on the other end of the line replied, but he said he's not interested. Seduce him with looks or something. The soldier's face scrunched up in disgust. Looks? Impossible. Don't attempt IT. She started to take off her uniform. If I just take off my uniform, it's about done. The masked man replied, in cash please. The soldier sighed, all right. I'll report IT to the higher-ups. The masked man hefted his spear. Phew, all over and done with. The masked man held out his hand, showing 2 mana stones. Not bad on the mana stone harvest either. He stared at the stones. Do you think this'll taste good? It looks like chocolate. With a shocked expression, the winged girl shouted, you can't eat it. It'll cause a rage. Do you want to be dominated by a monster's mana? It could be very bad. The masked man looked concerned. Hearing that makes me feel like someone's gonna definitely eat one later on and become a monster and cause chaos. The scene shifted to a street. He opened a briefcase full of cash. 37 million. It's all in cash. Check for yourself. He watched the screen. They gave you quite a lot. They must want to establish a connection with you. The woman in the military uniform smiled. Dumb. If you're done checking the money, then can we? It's because I'm wearing my military uniform that you can't see it, but back in my day, I was pretty papu. He turned to leave. I'll get going. She shouted, wait. He pressed a button on a card. She looked around, confused. She panicked. where did he go? He's gone again. She wondered, what level is he? He explained that just turning their attention elsewhere for a moment reactivates the stealth skill. He was asked when he prepared a device like that, and he responded that it was a secret. He was asked, then shall we go? There's 1 day left until the heavens start proper investigation. We need to stay on the move in the meanwhile. He knew that other dangerous monsters had appeared elsewhere. A woman screamed, my looks didn't work. Ugh. I'm so embarrassed Tilda. That's why I tried to stop you. Someone shouted, where's Sunggain Bolt? Yu Ilhan faced a floating screen with Lita by his side. He tapped the screen, thinking, all right, I'll have to choose my first class now. All the records you earned up to this point you can earn this class. The screen displayed a list of classes. Lancer, Grappler, Swordsman, Blacksmith, Shielder, and Hunter were among the options. He observed, these class names all look like something from an RPG. Yu Ilhan looked at the list, his finger hovering over the assassin class. Ugh. Let's forget about assassin for now. I have enough stealth. I might disappear if my presence goes any lower beyond what it is now. Lita explained, the reason you can't control your stealth is because you can't manage your mana in order to control it as an active skill. It doesn't consume mana when it's on all the time. That's why the stealth skill is. Yu Ilhan realized, I need to learn to manage mana quickly. Yu Ilhan looked at the choices and said, it's hard to choose because there are so many. Eartha, do you have any recommendations? Eartha responded, 23 already in just 2 days after logging into the Akarthic record. She continued, if we had a bit more time, it could have been 30 or even 40. Eartha thought for a moment. My recommendation is, Lancer, since you can use a spear. He considered, or a grappler could work too. He explained, since the skills you've trained are for close combat and with a spear. Right. I started them because Lita recommended it. Yu Ilhan, exhausted from the training, thought, I'm dying. Lita smiled, Yu Ilhan, you've gotten a lot better. Lita continued, you held out for a whole 3 minutes today against me. That's a new best. Yu Ilhan was still reeling from his beating as Lita said, I learned by getting beat up by Lita. An opportunity to learn from an angel is rare. You're lucky, Yu Ilhan. He looked away, replying, if I'm lucky, I wouldn't be a loser like this. To which Lita responded, that's just your fate. Lita's emblem glowed as she said, there's no need to think so much about IT. When you level up more later, you can obtain second and third subclasses. Yu Ilhan's eyes widened. Second class? Not a class change. He was shocked. I didn't read anything about a subclass on the internet. Eartha declared, social media is a waste of your life. There's no way information of substance would be on the internet. The guy asked Eartha, did you have some bad experience on the internet? She huffed, I plead the fifth. He wondered, something must have happened. Do angels go on social media too? He looked at the options before him, Lancer, Rappler, Wordsman, Blacksmith, Shielder, and Hunter. He grinned, I think a Lancer would be best. Eartha asked, and the reason? He explained his reasoning. The destruction power depends on the weapon a lot, so a good weapon would have a better effect than if I were to be a grappler. He held the spear confidently. Eartha agreed, good thinking. You'll be able to create much better spears as you find better materials. She thought to herself, I was going to recommend the Lancer too, but he's made the decision on his own. He will definitely become stronger than he is now. He looked up, surprised. The winged girl asked, what is it? She exclaimed, it's. A new choice suddenly appeared. It says Blurred Lancer. She looked shocked. She continued, a modification. That's a unique job. To think you would get a unique job already on the first class. He asked, a unique job. What's that? She explained, it's a class just for one person. All the past paths you've taken, the experiences you've had, and the records you've obtained come together. A blue screen appeared, showing active skill stealth LV. Max, she continued, to create a new class that never existed before. She urged him, choose that no matter what. A unique job is specialized for the being it was made for, so it'll be the best. She added, it has higher requirement for leveling up than other jobs, but even considering that, it's still worth it. He replied, okay. He selected the option, Blurred Lancer. He's become a Blurred Lancer, and the force of his attacks will be increased by 10% when attacking in stealth mode. He's become a Blurred Lancer, so the force of attack will be increased by 10% when attacking in stealth mode, the force of spear attacks will be increased by 10%, the force of spear arts will be increased by 10%, and the evolution requirements of stealth skill and spear skills will be eased. All the piled-up records are being absorbed, and he's become level 18. Strength, HP and mana have increased by 11, and dexterity by 12. He's surprised, saying, he can't manage mana and couldn't learn an active skill. He realizes, wait this. It's not Blood Lancer. He's shocked, realizing it's not Blood Lancer but a blurred one as he thinks, but a Blurred Lancer. The system explains, blurred, unable to see or be seen clearly, not clear or distinct, hazy. He's baffled. What is this? A blurry spearman. Also thought it was blood. I wouldn't have chosen this if I had known. He panics, saying, oh wow, I can't defend myself in this matter. Hey. He's surprised by what's happening. A blue screen appears in front of him. Yu Ilhan's body is changing. He is surrounded by a bright light. The fairy beside him says, my body changed. Your body was strengthened because you earned your first class. You already chose IT, so you can't go back. Yu Ilhan asks, how did I change though? A blue screen appears displaying his stats. Yu Ilhan, Human Blurred Lancer level 18. His title is Panka's Mystic Loner with passive stealth. His strength is 96. Dexterity is 102, HP is 98, and mana is 21. His active skill is stealth level max, and manacraft level 2. His passive skills are combat arts level max, spearmanship level max, and butchering level max. He received bonuses for having fallen behind, and every time he levels up, he'll grow by 5 status. He looks at his stats, dismayed. My title hasn't changed. What if I stay a Panka's mystic loner for the rest of my life? He's even more upset when he sees the fairy. Did you earn any active skills? He shouts no. The fairy explains, well, most first classes don't, so don't worry about that. But seeing your growth rate, I don't think you're gonna earn mana even when you get your second class. He's shocked by the news. Isn't that dangerous? The fairy responds, yes. The fairy smiles, if you were a normal person. The fairy sitting on his head responds, really? She continues, yes, so don't worry. If you haven't earned an active skill by the time you do your first and second job change, then the records will pile up and you'll get a very strong skill at your third job change. She explains, so it's a difference of getting a few small rewards versus one big one. Right. The fairy adds, originally, Yu Ilhan should have earned 2 active skills since he's earned a unique job. But he didn't. She finishes, if all these piled records collect until his third job change, he'll earn an amazing skill. The woman thought, he's a lower being worth watching over. She grabbed his hair. Here, let's go now. He yelled, oh, where are we going? She told him she hid his money case with magic, so no one would take it, and now he has to start looking for monsters as the proxy. She continued pulling his hair as they ran. Let's go, he said. I get it, so stop pulling my hair. He was informed that there are more proxies besides him. He was told, so you don't have to do it all by yourself. You just need to hunt monsters within your area. The Empress wondered, proxy, I wonder if that Empress also became one too. Of course, we can't leave someone like that idle. She continued, this is a quest from the heavens. If you have more work done than the other proxies, then your rewards will be bigger. Try your best. He thought, that's the kind of quest I like. If it was asking me to save people in danger, I wouldn't have enjoyed it. The woman stated, I like it when it's worded so that it's telling me it'll reward me for the work I put in. Angels are pretty cool. HMPH, watch where you're going. He looked at his phone with shock. The phone screen read, because it's here. Hunt info community. Someone said a tiger lives in the MT. Bughin. Anon 121. 175 fuck him scared more of bears than tigers. The army dudes are firing at it non-stop, but the bullets aren't even going in. Jiangnung's about to break down. Nearby, a man exclaimed, what's that? Jesus, A massive, muscular bear with glowing red eyes towered over the crowd. Someone screamed, Arun, you can't win against something like that. Uag, help. He grinned, saying, it's here. He held a spear, still smirking. The winged woman declared, looks like today's meal is bear small bladder. If you had poison resistance. The man looked shocked, exclaiming, ugh. The winged woman asked, what? Is there a problem? Learn poison resistance if there is. It's fine. The man with the staff stood ready as a giant bear with glowing red eyes appeared behind the winged woman. Want more content right now? Check out Dungeon Crawler Carl for completely free on Amazon. It's the highest rated audiobook with over 135 hours of pure dungeon chaos. Grab the first book completely free with the Amazon link in the description.